Hi, and welcome to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 223, and today's date is November 23rd, 2013, and this is the current economic collapse news brief for this Saturday. And let's get right into the economic collapse news. Now, we understand that the Western countries have been selling their gold off to the East, and this is a huge wealth transfer, and this has been going on for quite a while. And if we look back to 1993 to the present, and we look at some of the nations that have sold their gold, I mean, we're looking at Belgium, Austria, UK, Spain, Canada, Australia, selling, hundreds and hundreds of tons of gold to Russia, China, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and they have been picking up gold. And why have they been picking up gold? Because they understand that precious metals, that is your insurance policy when things go south. And we understand what is happening right now, that the dollar is going south. It is imploding. It is collapsing. And we're seeing many different signs. And we have to think back, and I mentioned this in my last report, that China has raised red flags, shot the flare up in the air. Everyone should be taking notice. They sent the signal around the world that they are done pretty much with the dollar. They will no longer acquire treasuries. They're no longer taking on the dollar. They're actually trying to get rid of it. Now, Russia, if you remember a couple reports back, they also did the same exact thing, where they said, hey, you know what? We'd rather you not trade in the dollar. We'd rather you not do that at this time. And they're trying to pass some legislation which will kind of outlaw the dollar within Russia. And we can see what is happening. And when other nations start to get whiff of this and they understand what is happening, they too will start saying, you know what? We don't want any more treasuries. Actually, we'd like to get rid of some of our treasuries. And this is why, again, the Fed is going to have to pump up what they are doing. Now, the ECB, the Fed, they want to increase the debt levels of the countries. They really want to bring them down so they can capture and get as much of their natural resources as they possibly can. And this is what they do. So right now what they're doing is they're pushing debt down the throats of these already impoverished countries like Greece, Cyprus, Portugal, Italy, France, and what they want them to do is they want them to take on more debt. Yes, they'll make it cheap for them to take on this debt, but they want them to take on the debt, and they want them to create some type of cuts and austerity in the country to take on more debt. And I've discussed this in length of how this does not work, because as the country takes on more debt, their interest payments go up, and guess what? They have to lay off the people, industries fall apart, GDP goes down, more people on the streets, less revenue coming into the government. And this is what they're doing in the end game. The United States is a little different because they are creating money and they are funding the government right now with a huge amount of debt. And the debt is skyrocketing like there's no tomorrow whatsoever. And we understand that this collapse is coming. And when a collapse comes, the governments go into overdrive. They start creating money quite a bit. They need to raise taxes wherever they can. They need to find money wherever they can. And we see this happening in France, and the president there tried to implement some type of tax. Italy, Spain, they're trying to raise their taxes and tax the people on sunlight and rainwater and the eco tax. Here in the United States, we see more taxes here. And I mentioned, Obamacare. We understand that, now if you're making over $200,000 a year and you sell your house, there's a 3.8% tax, which is hooked to Obamacare, which I don't know what has to do with health care, but we understand that Obamacare has nothing to do with health care, and that is to raise revenue, and it's all hidden within this Obamacare, let's give everyone health insurance, which it really isn't, because it was predicted, it was calculated out that the revenue that was going to be created from Obamacare was about $200 billion. And this whole program, and this is why President Obama wanted to push this out so fast. He didn't care about the insurance. He didn't care if the website worked or didn't work. He had full knowledge of what was going on. He is the driver of this. He doesn't care if insurances get canceled. they rather them get canceled. Why? Because when your insurance is canceled and you are not taking new insurance, guess what happens? You are penalized. There's a penalty. There is a tax put on you until you can get it rectified, and they are trying to grab as much revenue as possible. They're also doing this with FACTA across the ocean in other foreign nations where people might be living that have a dual citizenship or working in another nation but have a United States passport. They are now trying to get whatever money they're earning out there and tax it so that money comes back to the states. And they're also trying to pass legislation if you decide to leave the country and hand in your passport and renounce your citizenship, they will impose a 30% tax on your total wealth. And look, this is what they're trying to do because they are money hungry. They understand that the debt level cannot be sustained. It is completely impossible. The debt is going up faster and faster and faster, and this will accelerate, and it will accelerate so fast. We saw this in Germany, in the Weimar Republic, and in episode, what was that, 6, I think it was 6, 7, and 8. I did like a 4-part series and how the Great Depression compared to what is going on here. And I went through what happened in Germany at the time when a man went in, read a menu, and he saw how much a cup of coffee was. When he was delivered the coffee, that coffee tripled in price in that time span. That's how quickly things got out of control. And we are going to see that here in the States when the other countries start dumping their treasuries, stop using the dollar. That money will be rushing back here to the States. So what do they need to do to control what is going on around here? They need to spy on every single person, and they need to take control of the internet. They need to take control of everything and keep control so they know what everyone is doing. They know who you are, who you're talking to, where your money is flowing. They need all this information. And what has happened right now is the government lawyers are demanding that the U.S. District Court immediately throw out an ACL lawsuit against NSA surveillance, insisting that there is no avenue by which ordinary Americans could even theoretically challenge its legality. I mean, this is unbelievable. So here we are, ordinary Americans. We are not allowed to challenge the legality of the NSA surveillance. This is what they're saying right now. This is what the government is saying about you right now. And what has come out is that the NSA, what they want to do, and this is from a top secret strategy document that was revealed by Snowden, the NSA wants to really take this to the next level. And this NSA document titled, I'm going to try to pronounce this, SIGINT Strategy 2012-2016. It's SIGINT, SIGINT, or SIGINT. And this document, what they want to do, their long-term goal is to collect virtually everything available in the digital world. And this means every single product you own. If you have anything that is digital, that has a small piece of a computer chip inside, they want to control it, and they want the ability to retrieve information from it. And to achieve this objective, the paper suggests that the NSA plans needs to gain greater access in a variety of ways to the infrastructure of the world's telecommunications networks. And your TV, I mean, there was a report out now that LG is spying on the people, taking their information. Even if you opt out of giving them information, they're still transmitting the information. So your TV, your iPhones, your smartphones, anything in your home that has some type of computer chip will be available to the NSA. And their goal of integrating the agency's eavesdropping and data collection system into a national network of sensors that interactively sense, respond, and alert one another of a machine speed, and they're able to communicate with each other. And we see this happening in other cities where they're putting in LED lights and they're able to create a wireless mesh network where each device can communicate with each other to keep track of people movements of where they are. And this completely reminds me, I think the movie was called Eagle Eye, and this was directed by I think it was Steven Spielberg, where there was this main system that was able to tap into every single electronic device and control everything and even kill people if necessary. And it seems like we're heading down this path, and this is something they are totally looking to do. And their vast view of their mission, what they want to ultimately do, is they want to master the global network. They want to be the masters of the entire system. Now, there was another document code named Treasury Map. And this provides a near real-time interactive map of the global internet system. It's like stepping back 300 feet, looking down at the internet, and they're able to spot everything just by viewing it and standing back and having the whole entire map. And this is what they're trying to do. And this goes on to say that Treasury Map is a sophisticated tool. It collects Wi-Fi network and geolocation data between 30 million and 50 million unique internet provider addresses. The code can reveal the location, owner of a computer, mobile device, or router. They can track you. They know where you live. They know exactly what you're doing. And the program can map any device, anywhere, anytime, in real time. And this is what they're trying to do, because they need to have full control of what everyone is doing, because they understand the collapse is coming. They understand they need to do this, and this is creating social profiles of people. It's tracking them, putting you on certain lists, and this is how this is going to happen. DHS will have the list. They have the fusion centers, and when the collapse comes, the people who they feel are going to be a threat to their power, those people will be removed. Other people will be taken to FEMA camps, and this is how this is playing out. Now, China is increasing its war efforts, and what they're doing is they're creating an air defense zone over Japan-controlled islands. And what this goes on to say, Tokyo branded as very dangerous a move by Beijing Saturday to set up an air defense identification zone over an area that includes disputed islands controlled by Japan. And the outline of the zone, which is shown on the Chinese Defense Ministry website and a state media Twitter account, covers a wide area of the East China Sea between South Korea and Taiwan that includes airspace above the Tokyo-controlled island. And we can see how this is going to what's going to happen here. This is going to pretty much escalate what is happening out in the Pacific, and this is why the United States has sent, and they have increased the Pacific Fleet out there. They've sent over the stealth destroyer out to the Pacific, because China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, Syria, they understand what the central bankers are doing. Those are the globalists, the elite, the central bankers, whatever you like to call them. They understand what their move is. They understand what they're trying to do here, and they are getting prepared, just like the U.S. and the NATO nations are getting prepared with 40,000 troops doing drills right near Russia. We also see in Romania missile air defense systems. We see it in Turkey, their missile air defense systems, and we see this happening all over the place. And everyone is moving their military assets, getting prepared what will be World War III. Okay, now in L.A., DHS has given them a $11.4 million federal grant, and this is going to be used to set up a system to detect nuclear and radiological threats around the greater LA region. This kind of throws up some red flags for me here. And let me just read this here, this part. The Department of Homeland Security is securing cities, and it's called Securing the Cities Grant, and it will fund the purchase of nuclear and radiological detection equipment and set up an analysis lab and command center based out of LA Emergency Center, and then they will bring this to other cities. That to me, it is raising red flags, like I said before. And the goal is to set up a nuclear detection ring or halo around LA to monitor potential threats and develop a response protocol. This is in the first stage, and this will then spread to other cities. And I've been telling everyone, and I stand by it, that we will see some type of false flag event. I mean, you can see what is happening right now. DHS will start moving into all different cities, setting up command posts, setting up what they're telling us, these defense threat circles around the city. They'll maintain control, they'll have the command center, and they'll monitor everything. And you know how well DHS monitors stuff. Well, if you ever go to their website and look at their threat detection, there's never anything in there. They never even knew anything was happening in the Boston bombing. And why didn't they know this? Because these are all false flags. These were all planned. They have no clue, because this is not what their job is. Their job is to monitor and detect the movements of the people in the United States. When the collapse occurs, they are there to control you. They are looking for domestic terrorists. They are looking for those who would be a threat to the government. This is why they're put into place. This is why they have 2,700 armored tanks. This is why they have billions of rounds of ammo. This is why their entire operation is getting funded and funded more each day and building up, why the military is being shrunk and purged and reduced. Because in the end, they will be the command, the military inside the country. And all of this, what they're doing, is building up to the next false flag. They will be in every single city. They will have command centers now. They will be monitoring the situations of what's going on. They will have their troops within each city. And like I said in my other reports, they're telling us that terrorists are coming in from the north. They're missing these terrorists. They're bomb makers. There's a nuke that's missing. And many, many warnings from Al-Qaeda. And we can just see how this is going to turn out. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.